But, Slick, you got to break this down for me.
Yeah.
Which situation is better for Aaron Rodgers? Is it the New York Jets, who have not been to the playoffs since 2010, or the Green Bay Packers, who won the Super Bowl in 2010, the last time the Jets were in the playoffs? What's the situation better for Rodgers?
At this point in his career, there's no question. He needs to stay in Green Bay. Going to New York is not, and we talked about it earlier in the week, like it's, examples, Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Matthew Stafford going to the Los Angeles Rams. Those guys went to teams that were poised to win Super Bowls, and they were embraced and celebrated and got everything that they wanted. And then a year later, and depending on what the reports are on Matthew Stafford and where he is with the Rams, suddenly everything changed. Where this is two guys who won Super Bowls, and were they as embraced as they had been previously with their previous teams? When you change, when you leave your organization, and you go, Russell Wilson, another example, goes to Denver, has one bad year, people are off of Russell Wilson. That's what Aaron Rodgers risks going to New York. He didn't. You can say that the grass is always greener. Yes, okay, the grass might be greener in New York, but he didn't grow that grass. Like, he's just coming in, and he's expected to lead them to a Super Bowl. He's expected to be the Aaron Rodgers that was an MVP. Now, the people in Green Bay have already enjoyed the best of Aaron Rodgers. Last year, he was off. Were they killing him in Green Bay? No, because of all that he had done previously. But if he goes to New York and he has the same season that he had this past year in Green Bay, do you think people are going to go, oh, you know what, it's not his time, you know, he's old, we got him at the wrong time. No, they are going to kill him. As opposed to if he stayed in Green Bay and he had another season like that, they will think fondly of the years that he was Aaron Rodgers. So that's the risk that he runs. He has to be great, and even if he is great, even if he wins a Super Bowl, they're going to be expecting that the next year.
Where you at, Joy? Packers, Jets, better situation for Rodgers.
Stay in Green Bay, Aaron. Don't you leave Green Bay. A good man, Savannah. Stay there. Don't you go buying those skinny jeans and that Porsche. Keep in the minivan, all right, and keep the expectations nice and simple. Might I remind everyone, I feel like I got to say this slow. The Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs last year, a season where Aaron played badly for most of the year. And they lost a must-win game to the Detroit Lions, scrappy Detroit Lions that are also not very good, but they're the Lions, so we love that for you. Let's get you some Lions. That Lions team. That happened. Was I not here last year? You remember when that happened?
Yeah, it did happen.
It was like a couple months ago that happened. That Aaron Rodgers. When was the last time Aaron Rodgers played in a Super Bowl?
2010.
It's been a minute.
It is 2023.
It's been a minute.
We are in a different decade now. Let's be serious about this. The fact that Aaron Rodgers went out that sad last year and nobody's mad about it should tell you how low the expectations are in Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers. He can miss the playoffs and lose to the Lions, and it's all good. Don't take that to New York City. Don't go and buy them skinny jeans and that Porsche. Stay in Green Bay. Now, if you want to do what I would like you to do, I would like you to go to New York City because I am here for chaos and content. But if you want to ride off into the sunset, by the way, not just following exactly in Brett Favre's footsteps, by the way. Just feel like we should mention that also. It's not being said enough that this is no one else seeing the irony in this team. Stay in Green Bay.
Deja vu.
2-5.
Okay, before I get into this, do you think the Packers team is better or the Jets team is better?
Great question.
Like, I just want to know.
I think that the Jets have more depth. The Jets do.
So is that a yes?
I don't know. I mean, sure.
That's a great question. I was asking myself the same thing.
It's splitting hairs.
Okay. So,
I could say they're slightly better.
I think the Jets are better. Just think about it. If A-Rod comes to the Jets, he don't have to be great. He don't have to be none of the stuff we talking about. He don't have to be the MVP. He don't have to go out there and beat the Lions. We don't need you to do that. We need you to just make plays here and there. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play great defense. They lock stuff up over there in the Jets. You have your old coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. Your best football you've been playing as a Packer was office coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. So that's one part. The second part is, like, when we talk about A-Rod, like, I don't think he's not the same guy we used to seeing. He's not the 300, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's gone. Sure. And the best team that's available right now to play for that they don't need that type of Aaron Rodgers, is the Jets. This team was a top 5 defense last year. This team was losing games like 3-9. Just think about that for a second. 3-9.
That did happen.
Okay, let's just look at the offense. I won't even talk about the defense no more. Top 5 defense, you know what they bring, right? They got Pro Bowls on the defensive side, all pros. Let's leave them alone. On the offensive side, let me look at the skill position. The biggest position that Aaron Rodgers complained about last year was the
receivers.
The receivers. Cool. We go to the Jets, they have receivers. Right? Garrett Wilson is an animal. Offensive rookie of the year. So now you have a real number 1, where I feel like with Green Bay, he didn't have no number 1 receiver that he's used to having. His best years with Devontae Adams, our number 1 receiver. Now you go to the Jets, you have that. And the running game, I'll probably say that the Packers' running game is a little better, but it's not far off, right? You got some young studs. Breece Hall is a beast. And the second year, I'm telling you this right now, he's going to be lights out like he was last year. So if I just compare the teams, I think that with the Jets, you don't have to do as much, and you guys can win big games. You got a great defense. I think a division where they competed last year in that division with no quarterback. Just think about that. They competed last year in a division with no real quarterback. They beat the Bills, who we think the Bills is a great team, right? They beat the Patriots. They split all these different teams. Miami's always up and down. A-Rod, it's time for a new change. You talked about all the fans in Green Bay. They're used to seeing the same thing. We're going to beg Aaron Rodgers to come back. The front office and him, they're going to reach an agreement. He's going to come back there, and we're going to the same results. They go to the playoffs, they're going to lose like they always do. Go to the Jets. Have a new start.
I'll tell you this much. If you get an owner to fly across the country from New York.
Come on. And then they love you. Before you go, hold up. You talked about being where they love you more than the place you already is at. That's false. When a team like an owner flies all the way to Cali to come get you, they show you they really love you. Trust me, I got traded. I know what I'm talking about. They love you over there.
I would trust a man who's been in this situation before.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.